working space, and I had a suspicion that it wasn't laid out very well, and it was pretty low quality product. So I was thinking if you could increase the quality of the product and maximize the density, what would the business case look like? So first of all, what I did is I just came to the site in Giraffe and right-clicked on the 3D building that was there and created a shape with it. And that gave me this shell feature, which I've stuck on its own layer and can turn semi-transparent and locked it, which means whenever I look at this now, I've got like a nice sense of what the building envelope is. Obviously, there's no structural elements or anything, which we'll have to work around, but it's locked. So when I click on it, I'm not going to move it around. That right there is my new floor that I've placed in. Okay, so as I was thinking this through, first thing I thought is, well, there's tenants in the back here. There's a coffee roasting business, an architecture firm, and a toilet block. So we're not going to mess with all of that. And that's about 3,500 square feet worth of space that we're not going to be able to mess with. The other thing I thought is it needs to have a new floor down. So I was curious just what that would cost. I drew a shape of where I think the new flooring needs to go, and then I applied a quick cost to that, which I think is about $10 a square foot I put in. And as we learn, get quotes on that, we can update it. But interestingly enough, my theory is here is that if we laid out our desks, and our desks are 3 feet by 4 feet, so they're pretty big, but if we laid them out in a different way or in a closer way, and we gave everyone a permanent desk with partitions, what would that look like? How could we do it in terms of density, but then in terms of yield as well? So I've put the subdivision algorithm to work. If you have a look at what I've done, I've created these spaces. So these macro spaces are for all of the desks together. And then I've divided the section of 6 desks together, and then I've divided those into the actual desks. So I've taken the output from the envelope, and then from the envelope I've put that into a further subdivision, which then comes out as this desk typology that I've used here. And the sites or the regions just come out as a blank region, so we can at least get a sense of where they're going. So as I drag that out into these sections, it maximizes at 4 by 4, 4 by 2 groups of 8 desks. That seems to be the optimal layout. So I can grab that and then copy paste it, because we don't want this to feel too insane. We want to have this the whole way along. So it'll be a cacophony of noise, I think. So as I just drag this around, you can see the algorithm is just reshaping those desks slightly, or at least the way that they're subdivided. And then the other thing I've done here is put in a world-class kitchen at $120 a square foot, and a like a call booths kind of thing, which these are probably too deep. Come back a little bit. Call booths, meeting rooms, whatever you want to call them, and those we're also building at $120. So the other thing I thought would be interesting to do is like a nice restaurant or cafe-style eatery that is open to the public here, has a big subdivision wall, but then ultimately is feeding all these people and generating its own revenues. So that's the concept. This wall all along here is this beautiful big glass wall, and you can imagine with these wooden floors and these upmarket petitioned wooden desks, this would be really cool. And yeah, so let's have a quick look at the numbers. So if we see the average desk size is 15 feet, which is actually huge. Average number of desks, or the number of desks it's counting here, is about 160. Here are my costs. I'm assuming a cost of, I think, $800 a desk. So let's just crank that up and say that it's more like $1,200 a desk, because we're going to get fancy wood ones. And as we look at all that, we can start to see, well, our costs are sub 600. And if we're charging $350 a month for permanent desk space, this is an insanely good business model by comparison to what's there currently. We're not even factoring in rents on the commercial space, the retail space over here, or the existing tenancies, or whatever kind of premium memberships that we want to consider. So much so that I thought you could even bring this down to $1.99 and be competitive on price and space, and you'd still have a pretty good business model that breaks even in its second year.